This is Carol Stimmel in the Engerati studio at European Utility Week 2015. I'm here today with Harald Halfpaap, who's the CEO of the Climate Protection Fund at proKlima. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yes, nice to meet you.
So let's just jump right in. Give me, just an understanding of what this is, the Climate Protection Fund. What is a little background and what your goals are?
Yes, our goals are the reduction of carbon dioxide and primary energy consumption, and we achieve these goals with subsidy programs in Hannover, subsidy programs to save energy and to use renewable energies. So we have subsidy programs for old buildings, new buildings, non-residential buildings, renewable energies, combined heat and power, and so on.
Okay, great. So there's a lot in there. Let's unpack it a little bit.
Yes.
Who sets these goals that you're working to support?
We have the town of Hannover and the energy supplier and several partners, and they have created this fund and they set the goals, and so we work on it.
Okay, so you're the in charge of the Climate Protection Fund.
Yes.
And then, so proKlima, tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll back up from there, just to make sure we get all the pieces here.
Yes, proKlima is an organization financed from the energy supplier and the town of Hannover.
Okay, great.
And but we have no financial goals. Our goals are the reduction of carbon dioxide and energy consumption.
Okay, so that's then the source of your financing. So you discuss subsidies. So
yes.
Who are these subsidies offered directly to residential consumers as part of an energy efficiency program, or how would I acquire a portion of the subsidy for my own efforts?
Yes, it's for the residential people who want to invest into climate protection measures to lower the energy, and we have several of these subsidy programs in Germany already. And we in Hanover now we say if you do more than the law wants you to do. If you have, for example, if you build a passive house or if you do a modernization with passive house components, then you get additional money from us. So if you do more than the law wants you to do, then we give money to you.
All right, so let's discuss that a little bit. You talked about maybe a house, so I wasn't sure if you would subsidize a technology for a home or an actual home. Can you give me a few examples of some of the more interesting subsidies you've provided, what some of your success stories look like?
I think the biggest success story for us in Hanover is that the passive house standard is really really good in Hanover. In Germany we have the percentage of, for example, 1, 2, 3%, and in Hanover it's about 30% when you build a new building. And this means reduction of the energy of 80-90%, and this is really a lot. I think this is a really good success story.
It is. So you mentioned the passive house. So is a passive house what's also referred to as a net zero house? Is it equivalent to that?
Yes, it's nearly to the zero house.
Yeah, you said it's 10 to 20%.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And so we have to, for the remaining little part of energy, you need the renewable energies, and then you have the zero energy house.
Okay, so let's talk about some of the technologies that we might find in a passive house. I mean, one of the most popular things on the internet these days are the teeny tiny houses. People love the teeny tiny house.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just a North American trend, I don't know. I mean, help me visualize what one of these homes might look like, what the technologies are that are in it. Even, tell me, are the substrates different? How are you heating the houses? Are there closed systems? Just sort of lay that out so I get a picture.
I think it's very important for us to say the passive house is a very normal house. We have a normal house with high comfort. That's it.
So it's not a teeny tiny mobile home.
No, it's not you don't have to think about very much technologies. You have this good air tightness, you have a ventilation system, you have good insulation, and that are the typical parts of the passive house that are better, have a higher standard from a normal house. That's all.
All right, so it's interesting. One of the funny things to me in the efficiency industry has always been, for example, we'll buy you a very smart thermostat, but not realizing that the home has a big hole in the roof, right? So do you do any kind of assessments of the property to help a homeowner, for example, figure out how to move forward towards lower energy consumption in the 10 or 20% range?
Sorry, I haven't really got this question.
So in somebody who wants a subsidy, do they,
Yes.
I guess what I'm getting at is, do they propose to you what they would like to do?
Yes.
And are you active in terms of, is it part of your strategy and role to go out and help the homeowner decide? Is there
Yes.
an education, I guess, is probably
Yes,
the right
okay.
word?
We give them advice before. We have a consultant, and then we give the people money for the investment, and after that we also give them money for the quality insurance to say, well, I don't know the right words, that it's really working in the end. So it's from the consultants before the investment, then we give money for the investment, and in the end we give money to make that everything works.
So let's follow up on that, everything works. So you're helping them figure out what they need, then just for example, say you need spray and insulation or something
Yes.
like that. So then you're going to help them get that. And then are you talking about providing some measure of savings? So if I save, then you're actually continuing to fund a little bit? Is that what you were saying?
When we give them the money for the investment,
Right.
and then you can also give us your energy consumption data.
Right.
Then we can see if everything is working right, and we give you a feedback if everything is okay, and if not, then we have some more consultants to say perhaps you have to change here or there.
Okay, so here's my question about the consultant part and
Yes.
deciding which technologies might be best for the problems of a particular consumer. So you're doing a very personal thing.
Yes.
But do you recommend certain service providers or certain products? Is there a collaboration in the back end of who you work with, or do you prefer to be agnostic to that?
We have a network, a local network, and so we have several consultants who can do this work, who have that we know they can this, have the knowledge, and then we give to the people, we give them all these names, and they can choose one of them.
Right, so you're just not an energy efficiency fund. You are a full program top to bottom. You show up when the customer says they want to make these kinds of investments. You help them make the right investment.
Yes.
And then you stick with them all the way through to make sure if it's not if the savings, the consumption savings, aren't what were anticipated, you come back, I imagine, and try to solve problems.
Yes, it's the people who make this investment. They have the possibility. We have these people who join them all the time. It's not the only our own people always. It's also that we have people for this, and then it's also a subsidy that we give to the people to have this. This process, to be with them to all this process.
Okay, so it sounds like it's working quite well. One of the things I didn't ask you is how long you've been doing this.
Yes.
And so how long has the fund been
The
going?
fund was started to work in 1998, and the
okay.
idea started from 1992 after the conference in Rio. And then it took 6 years to create this fund, and
right.
now it's working since 1998.
Well, that's a long time. So I'm guessing you've changed strategies quite a bit in how you treat these energy efficiency issues. Or maybe they haven't. I would imagine earlier on you were doing a lot of retrofits, right?
Yes.
And now you're doing potentially more technology solutions. But retrofits are always going to be important.
The main part of our work really is the retrofit, the old buildings, the existing buildings, because they have the biggest potential to reduce the energy. So it's still the old buildings that we focus on. And however, it changed. When we talk about nearly zero emission buildings, then it's often that we do not look at one building when we look at old buildings. So we look at districts, area districts, to come to nearly zero emission, because it's easier when you look at districts as to a single building.
So it's very important in with your history, your longevity. You really have a lot to share with international prospects in terms of other groups that are working to do this. So I imagine you spend a lot of time advising just other countries internationally, talking about, like coming here and talking about what you do. Right?
Yes, we are often asked that how do you do this in Hanover,
right.
And I think they all say it's nice to have this. They also want to have this schema, this model. However, then it's always different to get the money. So the nice part, nice part is that we did this in 1998, and so it was luck for us.
Very forward-looking also. So, and in a response to the global concern, which really came to life in Rio in an important way. So that's really admirable. We just have a few minutes left, so I'm hoping you'll share with us what the future looks like for you strategically moving forward, especially as we see so many changes in the business, especially in Germany. So how are you responding to the changes? What is your vision and strategy?
Our vision is if everything is working very well, then we can stop our work in 2050, because then we have managed, we have reached our goals. However, up till then it's a lot of work, and then we really have to be optimistic that we have reached all the goals we have to 2050. So the big challenge at the moment is to reach the nearly zero emission districts, nearly zero emission buildings, to convince the people. And I think it's still a long way from knowledge to action.
Right.
People know the technologies, they know how it works. However, then they say, yes, we should do this. However, it's still a long way to bring them to action, and that's what we have to do.
That's a constant problem in our industry, but a lot more people are involved now and concerned about that. So congratulations on your great work, and I wish you luck moving forward. And thank you for spending a few minutes with us. This is Carol Stimmel in the Engerati studio at European Utility Week 2015. Thanks,
Thank
Harald.
you.